I'm a big fan of how films are made, and I've been following Zemeckis' career since I was a kid.
Me too.
You know, how you have the animation with live action in Frame Roger Rabbit. You have the incredible effects in Forrest Gump when Tom Hanks is shaking JFK's hand. It blew my mind. So when you're on this set and you're walking on the wire between the two towers, what does it look like for you? What are you seeing? How does he make that moment look the way it does?
So they built a real set of the top 2 stories of the World Trade Center, and it looked beautiful and real, and it was like really being there. And then they surrounded it with, you know, huge green walls to, you know, with movie magic, create everything around. They create, you know, all of New York City and the sky and the clouds, and especially the 2 towers of the World Trade Center.
So when you're actually walking across the wire, I know you actually train with Philippe to do that for 8 days so you can get that. But if you lay back, how do they do that? Did they give you a bigger platform to lay on? How do they pull that off? That's my mind.
Yeah, sure. Well, you know, I did do a lot of the wire walking, and I did learn from Philippe himself, like you said, but I also did have a double, and that's, I think, important to recognize. His name is Jade Martin. He's an excellent wire walker, and, you know, it just goes to show how much of a master Mr. Zemeckis is that you can't really tell when it's me and when it's him.
Can't. It's unbelievable. When I was a kid, I went to the towers with my uncle, and I looked up, and he told me the story about how this man typed across the tower, and I was like, that's not true. How can that possibly be true?
Right.
It was just a mind-blowing thing that I saw Man on Wire, that I experienced this. Are there stories that you've read in your lifetime that you like go, that cannot be true? How is that even possible?
Oh, that's interesting. I'd have to put some thought into that. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Although, I don't know, if there's like a real life person nowadays doing things that seem impossible, I would probably point to Elon Musk, who, you know, you would have thought it was impossible to start an automobile company in the United States and sell electric cars and have it be successful, and he's doing it like gangbusters. And then to top that off, he's starting a rocket ship company called SpaceX, and you know, he says our mission statement is to have humans live on Mars. And of course it sounds impossible, but I believe him. I believe he's gonna make it happen.
That's awesome. Now, I was thinking about the idea of him being nervous about the first step, and like how he's trying to, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, I'm really nervous about it. And I was thinking back to like your original, when you first started off, the first big movie you did was River Runs Through It, one of the biggest movies of all time, Robert Redford directing. Do you remember your first step onto that set and how you felt and how you overcame those nerves?
You know, it didn't feel like that to me when I was 10. I just loved being on movie sets. For me, it was like my favorite place to be. And I don't think I perceived the magnitude that you're talking about. I didn't know. I mean, when I was 10, I didn't know who Robert Redford was. I'd never seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, or, you know, The Sting, or you know, Ordinary People, or any of that. I just knew him as this guy who called himself Bob, and who was really nice, and was the first director that I'd ever worked with who was also an actor and seemed to really understand what acting was all about from my perspective. And so yeah, but maybe that sort of speaks to your question, which is that if you feel nervous about something, it really is sort of a mental game that you just have to think about it differently.
Man, so I'm a big nerd about Zemeckis. I think he's one of the greatest filmmakers of all time.
I love your energy. I'm already into this interview.
Look at Roger Rabbit. I mean, obviously he had live action with hand-drawn animation. JFK shaking Tom Hanks' hand in Forrest Gump.
Sure.
How did this look on set? When you're looking up and you're seeing, what does he give you to look at? What are you seeing? Is it just a laser pointer?
What he did is he put Roger Rabbit up there, and we had to like kind of follow Roger Rabbit, and then like that turned into Lieutenant Dan's legs, you know, Lieutenant Dan's legs, and like it just was all of his different movies.
That's why I saw Gary Sinise's credit in the movie.
Sinise is definitely in there.
I was trying to figure that out.
Huge part of this film.
Good point.
Wilson had his own chair.
Wilson had his own chair. The volleyball just had his own chair.
Yeah. Never on camera, but just
always there.
Was Marty McFly? I couldn't find him in the.
You will see him all over the movie if you really look.
Yeah, pay attention.
I'm sorry, guys.
Wait, Badgie has a great. So Badgie has this great scene where he's looking up. No, this is true. This is going to help you out. Where he looks at Joseph doing this beautiful walk.
Charlotte and Steve, and we're outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
What were you looking at?
That actually was a laser pointer because we're outside and we're out in the streets, and we all have to look at the same point.
It was a laser pointer for you.
Which none of us could find the laser pointer. We're all looking at different directions. But the set, they built the 2 towers in the studio the top 2 floors, and the dimensions were identical, and it was was it 140 feet between the 2 towers, and Joe did that walk for a week.
Absurd.
Walked back
It's
and forth,
insane.
Absurd.
It was
so
truly.
when you're up there, though, are there wind machines? How are they making you feel like you're that high?
You're surrounded by green, but you're up, man. You're up 25 feet, I think, is what we're guessing, or what we're saying. We could be lying. But so I was lucky enough to be up there, and I'm taking pictures near the edge. And when I looked over, it's terrifying. And that's only 20, 25 feet in the air, and I'm stationary. Joe is on a wire, and I'm like super nervous. But I think there might have been wind machines, but it's just like there's vastness below you. The idea of us acting on there, we were all a little bit scared because if you fall, you know what I mean. There's actual danger.
This is a dumb question. Were the photos actually being taken?
I was taking photos, but was there film in the camera? You're gonna have to wait till next time. I don't remember. There might have been. No, you know what I think we'd use? We used actual, like, everything was authentic, so we used like 70s empty, I think it was empty rolls, or they were used, they were exposed, and we just reused them and stuff. That's
awesome.
It was great.
That's awesome. Wait, so do you guys, when you guys walk on a
This is the
set,
best.
do you guys geek out?
What makes you sad? Tell me one thing that makes you sad.
Nothing makes me sad.
Copy that. All
I
right.
mean, maybe a little bit of End of Castaway. That made me
Great
a little
movie.
sad. Yeah,
Great
but
movie.
no, I want to ask you, because you've worked with some of the greatest filmmakers of all time. You go look at Scorsese, one of the greatest directors in the history of movies. When you walk off those kind of sets and you walk into a film like this, do you utilize anything from Scorsese?
Ooh, good question.
It's an excellent question. Yeah, I think you utilize anything you've learned on any job. I know Ben and I, we've worked a lot, and so you show up to work, it's kind of like you're gathering tools from different jobs, and then when you show up and you're talking to people, and you can look at it and say, wait a minute, I know what tool to use.
answer,
Bob and Marty are very similar. They're very similar. They're very story-driven visual directors, and it's and they trust the people they work with, and they kind of just go run with it, man.
I think that's some of the best. Any of the best directors I've worked with, the people that are considered those, like JJ or stuff like that, are they're collaborative. They're open to hearing what you have to say, and they're open to making it like a group thing and create together. And it seems like I've never worked with Scorsese, but it seems like he seems like that as well.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible,
He's
man.
that guy,
Even when
He's
you're at the top,
I've
you're
hired
okay.
I've hired you for a reason.
Right, I chose you.
Dude, I chose you for a reason. Now use your instinct. You're the filter. You're the filter. Quit messing up, Badge. That's what I hear a lot.
I want to hang out with you guys all day. Can we just sit here all day and just do interviews?
Yeah, ask her. I'm almost certain she'll say yes. I'm almost certain.
She's all for it.
I've
Yes.
like
One more,
said
go one
15
more, one more.
questions.
Say one more, last one.
Here's the moment. So the moment when he walks out on the first wire, he's obviously very nervous about this. He can't overcome that fear at first. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that step. Do you remember the first time you walked onto a movie set and how you overcame those nerves taking that step onto the
Those are
set?
good questions, man.
Oh man, that's an excellent question.
Mine isn't a movie set. Mine was I was always afraid to audition for the improv team in college because I was afraid to fail. Sincerely afraid to fail, and people tell me that I wasn't funny and I wasn't good enough. And it took me to my senior year of college, and I had a girlfriend at the time who forced me to audition, and I got on. But it was that first step of truly being afraid to ruin things, and it takes so much effort and so much guts to go and take a risk in life. But
Because your body is screaming, "Don't do it."
Correct.
Your body is going, "Don't do it, don't do it," and you have to. And I love that scene in the movie when it's one foot.
it's so beautiful, man.
and it's that simple.
Nerd
And then
tears.
just the next, man, and then you gotta trust. You gotta trust.
Yeah. All right, they're
Hey,
gonna,
dude,
they're
you're
gonna
great.
kill me.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank
man.
you so much, man.
Nice to
Nice
meet you,
It's
sir.
been
Thank you,
awesome to
man.
meet you
Great
guys,
attitude,
man.
man. Cheers, man.
Congratulations. When you guys are down on the street looking up as Joseph's doing
Yes.
these sequences, what are you actually seeing? Does he give you like a laser pointer so you know where to look?
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, that was the main challenge probably of this movie. Me and James Badgedale, we were surrounded by hundreds of extras, and Joseph was an actual like red laser dot on a wall, and Robert was just there shouting directions at us, like, okay, now he's falling. Oh no, it's just a piece of clothes, and now you're crying, and now you're happy, and now you're really, really happy, and now you're sad, and now it's over, and it's just. And yeah, you have to have a really rich inner life. I mean.
Does he give you any previs of what it looks like so you kind of know what you're looking at? Because
I've seen the documentaries. We just had like pictures and stuff like that, and I think you can, kind of picture it yourself in your head. But no,
it's amazing.
nothing else.
And you were not able to actually meet her because I know the relationship was a little bit
Yeah.
different, obviously. Can you talk about, because obviously Joseph got to meet Philippe and he got to work with him for the 8 days and
Yes.
training and stuff like that. Was it stressful not being able to meet her? Like, did you?
Well, I mean, for Joseph, I think it was really important character-wise because Philippe is so extravagant and so unique. I think it was really interesting for Joseph to meet him in order to make it in the movie because he's such a character itself. You know, it's very interesting to see those type of characters in movies. It's pretty rare, actually. But as for Annie, for me, it was just being all about support and love and not being judgmental of the man because there was so many things that were being said on Philippe that sometimes he was a little bit arrogant and mean sometimes even. But it was important for me not to be in that state of mind and just to be about love and non-judgmental with my character and his character.
I hope she sees it. I really do.
I do.
I hope she sees it. It's wonderful. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.